Hello, happy Friday. So I just finished doing a live a few minutes ago and then found out that none of the sound was working. So this is one more shot at this, and hopefully you guys can actually hear me this time. That would be great. So welcome. So as promised, I'm jumping on live every day for the total of 30 days to give you ways that you can start to get at least 10 hours of your life back a week. So Wednesday, I touched on the topic of social media time and how we can get sucked into scrolling, and that it's not always the social media time that's really at the root of the problem. That's not necessarily the challenge that's taking up the time. It's what's getting us to get on. So I talked about that on Wednesday, looking at what's happening before you reach for your phone that's getting you into the social media path. And then when you're doing that, why? What is the result you're looking for? Is it for a laugh? Is it for relief from something else? Is it to procrastinate? Whatever it is, just being in awareness of that. And then the third thing I talked about was it's not always discipline that's the trick to making it change, right? It's just not another rule. I'm only going to do it for this amount of time. But if you haven't looked at what's driving you to it, then a rule is not necessarily going to work, or you're just going to keep judging yourself about why are you not doing that? Why can't you get yourself to follow through? So it's more, if it's not a discipline thing, if it's not a create more of a rule for yourself, what do you do? So yesterday I zoomed out from that because it's not just social media, right? It's all kinds of things that we can apply that to. It's any area of our life that we're doing something. And so we talked about pausing before you make a decision of yes or no. So pause before the yes, because what's getting us to say yes to something, and then what are we giving up when we do say that yes? If we say yes to being on the phone, what are we giving up with that time? And which is more valuable to us? And maybe we can just have fun doing this, and then the thing we're giving up, we can just find another place for. Or is it really not that valuable at all? And who cares if we're on our phone for an hour, right? So that was the pause before the yes. And even beyond the social media, if you're accepting a calendar invite, if you're saying yes to more work, if you're saying yes to doing something for someone else, what are you saying no to? You're saying no to whatever you would use that time for instead. And what is the impact to your life of that, of not having that? So that was yesterday, and you can always watch yesterday's live on my feed if you wanted to get deep into that. Today, I really wanted to dial in on that discipline piece, which is, why do we feel like we need to be forcing ourselves into something? Why do we feel like we need a rule? I'm not saying that discipline is bad. I'm not saying there isn't a need for having a way of getting ourselves to do stuff even when we don't want to. But the reality is, why are we doing the thing? Why is it that we want to make the change? Why is it that we want to get ourselves to do the thing? And if that's not clear, then it's always going to feel like a drag. It's always going to feel like Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill, right? What is it that we could do to make it more magnetic? So the first question to ask before you even spend time on that is what I call the should test. So I love giving little litmus tests, right? The pause before the yes, the just what is the trigger, just noticing. So flags, things that you can be paying attention to. And so when you're thinking about what I need to have more discipline on something, is that a want to or a should? People will say, I have to do this, or I need to do this. And any client of mine will tell you that I will always interrupt and say, you need to or you want to. And it can be any need that is, I need to brush my teeth every morning. Yeah, okay, why? Do you want to brush your teeth? Maybe you feel like you don't want to brush your teeth, but what is the outcome of brushing your teeth? Well, then you can speak to people without them cringing. Like, people actually want to talk to you. You have more confidence, right? So do you want to have confidence? Do you want to have people that actually want to talk to you? And if the answer is yes, then how can, do you want to brush your teeth? I guess I do want to brush my teeth, right? So you could do that to anything. And that's where it's a should or a want to. Well, is it a should? Well, I don't want to talk to people that don't brush their teeth. So it's not just I should do this. It's important to be doing this, and it's something I want as a result. So then it passes the should test. The other thing, but maybe it's when you brush your teeth. Maybe it's easier to do it at a different time. That's the other part of it is, okay, so if you want the result, then you don't want to do the thing. Is there another way to get there? Like, why don't you like brushing your teeth? Is it because it takes time? Is it because you hate the flavor of the toothpaste? Is it because you've got gingivitis and it hurts? What is the reason that you don't want to do the thing that you want the result for? And is there another way? So since we're talking about teeth, for example, flossing your teeth. Every time I go to the dentist, every single time, are you flossing? And I would say no. I'm not a flosser unless something's going on that I need to get out of my teeth. I used to not ever brush my teeth. Then I went to this dentist, and this was only like 10 years ago or not too long ago. And he is like so in love with his job. This is the dentist he loves being a dentist. And he's truly about the mission. Like, he really cares about people's teeth. And it's hilarious in the way. I've never seen a dentist love what they do so much. So he had a different vibe, and he had a real passion for getting people to take care of their teeth. And so he literally just asked me in a different way. He's like, would you just please brush or use something that you can floss your teeth, but it doesn't have to be the thing where you pull it out and do the whole routine. What if you just use those little picks that you buy in the packet, and when you're sitting in front of the TV, use it? What could you be doing to get yourself to do it so you actually do it? And he was so passionate about it. I kind of felt bad for not brushing my teeth. Like, I felt like I was letting him down. So was that kind of a should? Well, not really a should, because I wanted to be doing it. I just wasn't. So I wanted the result. I wanted the healthy teeth. I wanted my dentist to be happy. I wanted to not say, no, I wasn't doing something that I know is really good for me. So I just got a pack of those little things while I'm not doing it in front of the TV. It makes it 10 times easier for me than pulling it out, doing the little, wrap around your finger thing. It just wasn't, I didn't like doing that. So now I use the little picks, and it's easy. And so the point of that is you can apply that to anything. It's the should test. Do I feel like I should be doing this, or do I want to do this? If you feel like, well, I want the outcome, then what is it that you can do, the path to the outcome? Is that the only path, or is there another way? So Monday, I'm going to be talking about what are some of the ways that you can look at the path that you've set for yourself, or that you think is the path. There are always other ways to do things. But one of the things that, Tony Robbins said, we don't ever change for pleasure. We change to avoid pain. So until it's more painful to stay the same, we're not going to change. So how can we associate more pain with staying the same than pain of the path to getting the thing we want? So I'll talk more about that Monday. Meanwhile, not going to be in your lives this weekend. Take a break, get to do your thing. I'll see you on Monday, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Practice your pause before the yes and your should test when you're feeling like you should be doing something, or you feel like discipline is necessary to get yourself in motion. Really look at, do I even want to be doing this in the first place? Is it even an outcome that I care that much about? And if it isn't, let it go. Free your mind, free your life. There's plenty of other things you can be doing with that mind space. And then if it is an outcome, then on Monday, we'll talk about how to shift your path so that it becomes more magnetic. Have a great weekend. I hope the volume worked this time, because I am not doing this again. And I will see you guys on Monday.